Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you. Once again, welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to talk about the first half of the week that was in pro wrestling. That includes Monday Night Raw, NWA Power, and AEW Dynamite. Definitely some interesting shows going forward. Can't wait to share with you all. And let's get into this one as we start off with Monday Night Raw. And we start off with a match for the first time in feels like forever. And it's Trios Action. And yes, I'm going to call it Trios. 6-man tag is way too much. As it's the New Day teaming with Jey Uso to take on Imperium. The full power of Imperium. That's Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and Gunther. And this was an absolute fun match to kick off the show. Everyone definitely got their stuff in, including a nasty looking powerbomb from Gunther. Near the end, New Day and Jey Uso pull off let's call it what it is. It's a 3D, but with an extra person. They called him 1D. Which was Jimmy and Jay's finisher when they were a tag team. And then Jay with an Uso splash to pick up the victory for his team. It was then later on announced that we're getting Jey Uso versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title. And sorry, Jay, I don't think you're winning this one. Because I think Jimmy's going to interfere. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Next up, we got a very weird Andrade vignette. It's definitely been a while since he's been on TV. Was hoping he'd at least get an in-ring promo or something, but I talked about having to go away from WWE for a bit, and now he's back to finish what he started. So, kind of copying the whole finish my story thing from Cody Rhodes. I still kind of have him facing Gunther at the WrestleMania. Although Braun Breaker would be good too. Either way, I'd be fine. Next up, we got a qualifier match for the Men's Elimination Chamber as Bobby Lashley takes on Bronson Reed. And this was a house fight. I'm surprised it was so short, but honestly, it was very impactful, including Reed blocking a spear. That you don't see that every day. Reed then goes up for a tsunami. Lashley gets up, knocks him off the top rope, and hits a spear to pick up the win. And honestly, I am very surprised. One, this was a clean finish, because I honestly thought the Final Testament would cost Bobby Lashley. And two, considering this is Bronson Reed's home and at the Elimination Chamber, I figured he'd be in this match. Get a nice hometown pop. But I guess not. Hopefully we got something good for Reed in the coming days, because he's eating way too many pins. Next up, we got a Sami Zayn in the crowd before the show interview, in which I never liked these. If I can just get that off my chest, these feel weird. If you're gonna have a do an interview, have them do an interview, whether that's in the ring in front of people or backstage. This whole hanging out before the show thing, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. Anyway, basically, Sammy talks about falling short in his Elimination Chamber qualifier against Orton. Has a sense of embarrassment. But if he doesn't show up the next week, then he wouldn't be able to live with himself. And that's what separates me from others. When I fail, I don't just cower in the corner. I come out with an unwavering belief in myself. And if I don't do this, no one else will. And he continues, no path is easy, but it's the path I'll take. Then Shinsuke Nakamura, who is up on the Titantron, pretty much says, you'll act like you're mediocre, you'll look to others for sympathy, your chance is gone, I will pick up your soul and continue my warpath forward. In which, he did that in Japanese, which is way more impactful. I do hope they do something with these two. Like, these are honestly, some of the two of the hottest acts in WWE. And they got nothing for WrestleMania? Like, that's weird. Anyway, we then get an in-ring Cody Rhodes promo. He wants to talk about the main event of WrestleMania 40. Took me a while to say that. And the only reason I can say that is because of all of you and all of your support. Which got a "You are welcome" chant from the fans. And he takes a pretty big stab at The Rock here, saying, well, you guys are making me emotional, but I don't want to get emotional because then I'll be a crybaby. Ooh, I like that. That's a nice little dig at The Rock. There was one man who didn't want to hear it, the most famous person on the planet, whose promos are different now. And I have to ask, what are we supposed to do with the Nuggets? Dude, shots fired by Cody. That, honestly, these lines got me cracking up. This was great. Then he continues, don't mistake my candor for weakness. We have all been fans of The Rock, but his only issue is that he doesn't listen. He did slap me in the face, and I recognized the look in The Rock's eye. The Rock and Roman Reigns are a perfect storm. And Rock, you've got a receipt coming. So, Cody, you're going to get some payback. Then out comes Seth Rollins, which, alright, very interesting. Cody thanks Seth for his help at the presser. Seth says, yeah, you're welcome. Seth then continues, while I was looking forward to our match at WrestleMania, I understand you got to finish that story of yours. Millions of people waiting for you to finish that story. You need to finish the story, not just for yourself, but for everyone here. And if you don't, the future landscape will be very dark. The most powerful champ ever has been Roman Reigns. He's going to show up less. That glass ceiling gets thicker. The brass ring gets higher. This is your last real chance to take that title. And you might be the man for the job. So what's your plan? You got screwed last year. You fought your way back. The deck is stacked against you. The bar has been raised. Because now you're dealing with The Rock. Cody retorts, I tend to agree. You don't have to fight... Oh, no, this is still Seth. You do not have to fight alone. While we haven't always seen eye to eye, I also wanted to take everything from Roman. And I'm sick of people like Rock and Roman doing whatever they want, whenever they want, and always getting away with it. And man, Roman, it's my fault. I taught him everything. I couldn't see the monster he could become. And now the monster has two heads. When it comes to fighting the bloodline, one man on earth is suited to be your shield. Me. So it looks like we're going to get something with Seth, Cody, Roman, and Rock. Either at Elimination Chamber. Doubtful because, Rock and Roman don't do B shows. But more than likely, our night one main event might just be a tag team match player. which is a shame because I think it should go to Bailey and Io because they've been telling a really good story over there. But I do like that compromise. As much as I've been okay with Rock versus Roman for WrestleMania, I think this will be a lot better. Like, then you can get, Seth defending his world title against the Chamber winner, and then you could get Cody finishing his story, finally. And then we go backstage. Jey Uso and New Day are doing an interview. It's revealed that Jey Uso is getting his Intercontinental title match. New Day and Jey just start talking their catchphrases and then walk off. We then get our next Elimination Chamber qualifier, but this time for the women, as it's Liv Morgan versus Zoe Stark, in which was a very entertaining match. Like, it wasn't like full-blown mind-blowing, but it was really, really entertaining. Lots of good back and forth. Liv Morgan adding the Codebreaker to her repertoire. That's a good move. Hitting the Oblivion to win and to qualify for the Chamber. So, Liv Morgan, probably not going to win the Chamber, but I could see her doing some crazy stuff. Next, we got the Judgment Day in the back. They're walking along, doing whatever they're doing. And then they run into R-Truth, who is still thinking he's in Judgment Day. Then JD McDonough gets in his face. Dude, you're not in Judgment Day. There was no initiation. There was no reinitiation. We just beat the crap out of you. And while last week was an initiation, tonight is your execution. So then JD McDonough comes out. He's with the rest of Judgment Day minus Rhea. Then we go backstage. R-Truth is trying to call the Miz. He finally gets him on the line. Pretty much says, Miz, I need your help. How fast can you get to Kentucky? Because Miz is in L.A. So then you have Adam Pearce come in. He's trying to shoo R-Truth out to the ring. R-Truth gets to the ring. Doesn't do his what's up entrance. Because I think it finally dawned on him he's going to get his butt kicked. Tosses his phone to the ring announcer, which, that's funny. And this match was short but sweet, Like, R-Truth is one of the most over men in wrestling right now, and I love every second. And this was a really good showcase for JD McDonough. Like, don't get me wrong, he's definitely had a good showcase matches in the past, but this one, he turned it up a notch. Including hitting a Devil Inside, which is a great name for a finisher, to pick up the win. Then post-match, McDonough, Priest, Balor, and Dom start just beating on R-Truth. Then out comes two very unlikely allies, and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, a.k.a. DIY. And we'll get to that segment a little bit later. So then next up, you see Sami Zayn. He's kind of working out, getting ready for his main event. Then Cody Rhodes walks up. They kind of shake hands. Cody says, look, I know you've always had my back with the Bloodline. Tonight and going forward, I'm going to have your back, no matter what. And you're not the only one who believes in you. We all believe in you. Cody goes for a handshake. They instead hug. So it looks like what we're getting is Cody building up his own group to combat the Bloodline. Which, definitely interesting strategy. And hopefully this one works. And honestly, no one better to comment The Rock than Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, I'm kidding. Or am I, brother? No, for real. That'd be interesting. Then we get an in-ring Becky Lynch promo. And she acknowledges a prom sign asking her to go to the prom in like 2040 or whatever. So that, honestly, starting it out great. That's hilarious. Seth, please don't get jealous. I think that was just meant as a joke. I've had a crazy road to WrestleMania. It's been unpredictable, and I love it. I love this business so much. I've been obsessed with it since I was 15 years old. And this coming from someone who failed gym class in primary school. And we went from that to main eventing WrestleMania. I met my husband through the business. I had my daughter. I miss this so much. My daughter is only 3. I've had difficult talks with her. And going into the chamber, she's going to see my body broken. But she is also going to see how brutal her mother can be. And I've never been more obsessed in getting my title back than I've been right now. And it starts at the chamber, on to WrestleMania, and you dig in. You think no one can beat her? I ain't just anyone. Ain't faced anyone quite like Rhea. Ain't faced anyone quite like me. And I propose a toast. She gets a glass of lemonade, I assume from a fan. A toast to the wild ride to WrestleMania. She starts gulping it down. Out comes Rhea Ripley. No, out comes Nia Jax. Who, crocodile tears in her eye, has said, we've had our differences before. So I've got something to say to you. I have so much respect for you. And if my mom was half the mother you are, I'd be so lucky. And I'm going to lead by example. You're going to win the champion. Nothing is going to stop you. Just like nothing is going to stop me from beating Rhea Ripley at the Elimination Chamber. And at WrestleMania, it's going to be you, Becky Lynch, versus me. And before she could get it out of her mouth, Rhea Ripley comes in and they just brawl. Nia almost sends Rhea right into Becky Lynch, who's in the corner still with her drink. They continue to brawl until Nia gets tossed to the outside. And then Rhea and Becky have a big old stare down. Ooh, I can't wait for that WrestleMania match. It's going to be so good. Next, we got a backstage interview with Drew McIntyre. Pretty much saying, all I've ever done is give fans what they want. Seth is the one who's being selfish. And we all gotta ask ourselves, who's the bad guy here? I'm the underdog. I just beat AJ Styles to get to the chamber. I'm doing things the right way. But I'm doing things my way. And then it's revealed that Drew and Cody are going to have a match next week. And he's saying this to Cody, who's not there, but he's aiming it at Cody. We don't need to have this match next week. But I can tell you right now, if we do face each other, you may not make it to WrestleMania. So, big threat from Mr. McIntyre. Let's see how that goes. So then next we got R-Truth and DIY backstage. And R-Truth thanks DIY for the help. And he can't believe I got saved by 2 legends in DX. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels and the Game Triple H. And I got 2 words for you guys. Thank you. which, nice little moment for babyface Truth. And hopefully they do something neat with DIY coming soon. Because they need something. Speaking of needing something, it's the other men's qualifier for the Elimination Chamber as LA Knight, takes on Ivar. And this match was entertaining, to say the least. Not saying it was bad, but it was definitely a lot of entertainment value. Both sides worked really, really well together, including a nasty-looking top rope powerbomb from Ivar. Ivar tries for the Doomsault, misses. BFT from LA Knight to get the win. And then you have Sami Zayn. He's walking around backstage, getting ready to make his entrance, runs into Drew McIntyre, who says, "Look, you gotta keep my name out your mouth and your nose out of my business. Otherwise, we're gonna have problems." Sammy doesn't really say anything. He just walks off. Next, we are in Adam Pearce's office. He's talking to Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. In comes Chelsea Green, who demands to know if she's going to be in the second chance battle royal for the last chamber spot. Pearce is like, "No, I was just talking to Hartwell and LeRae about that. But I'll let you know." Green replies, "How could you have the biggest WrestleMania ever and not have me in it? Why should I earn a spot? I just need a one-on-one match, not a battle royal to qualify. And I don't care if it's those two, Stark or Baszler. I'm gonna do it." Then she turns around right into Stark and Baszler, with Baszler saying, "Well, I wanted to talk to Pearce about the tag team titles, but I'd be happy to tear you apart, Chelsea. So next week, let's do it." Then Green turns to Pearce, pretty much says, "Oh, you obviously have glasses. You obviously saw them. I'm going to go speak to management." Chelsea Green's character is just so good. Hopefully they do something with her for WrestleMania as well. And finally, our main event of the evening, as Sami Zayn takes on Shinsuke Nakamura. And, honestly, this match was absolutely awesome. Both guys are super good at this, and it kind of emulated their first meeting in NXT, like, I want to say about 10 years ago, when Nakamura first debuted. So coming down to the end of the match, Sami Zayn has Nakamura ready for a Helluva Kick, but then out comes Drew McIntyre. He's on the outside. This distracts Sami Zayn long enough to eat a dropkick from Nakamura into a Kinshasa for the win for Nakamura. Post-match, Drew and Shinsuke attack Sami Zayn. And Cody Rhodes makes the save. He and Drew brawl. Then Cody hits a Cody Cutter and a Crossroads on Nakamura. So, we'll see where all this leads. It's definitely going to be an interesting road to not only Elimination Chamber, but also to WrestleMania. It's been a long, windy road. Let's see how we finish. Alright, so that was Monday Night Raw. We now roll right into NWA Power, which we start off with a vignette hyping up Thrillbilly Silas Mason versus Paul Burchill for the national title. Our first match is actually a tag team match player. You got the Southern Six, Alex Taylor and Kerry Morton, taking on Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch. And Knox and Murdoch dominate early on. Morton and Taylor then try to come back. Eventually, Knox and Murdoch hit the high-low. However, Ricky Morton pulls the ref out to the outside, interrupting the count. Murdoch then gets on the outside, starts brawling with Ricky Morton. Then Kerry hits a sleeper onto Mike Knox in the ring. And bell rings, match is thrown out, and the brawl continues with officials breaking it up. I'm a little disappointed that this went to this. However, it does build up to a future match between these teams, which I'm definitely all about. We then bring it to a backstage interview with the Immortals, our U.S. Tag Champions, in which Kratos pretty much says, not disrespectful to us. It doesn't matter who we are facing tonight, but tonight it's the Slimeball Rejects, and you guys need to bring a big crew of paramedics, because tonight you're going to the belly of the beast of the Immortals, and we're going to show you the difference between being a play wrestler and being a real wrestler. Ooh, those are dang fighting words. That match is going to be coming up a little later on. We then go to the NWA TV title unification match as women's TV champion Max the Impaler takes on men's TV champion Mims. And this match was pretty much a big old hoss fight. Like, both landing big blows on one another. Eventually, Mims has Max up for a powerbomb, but that gets blocked. Big splash in the corner, into the powerbomb for a victory for Max the Impaler, who is now Unified Television Champion, and actually now successfully defended their title to the full count. Now they can cash it in for the women's title shot. So that's going to be a fun one. And then post-match, just the exclamation point, big old lariat from Max the Impaler to Mims. And yeah, I hope Max has a nice long reign with these titles, but also gets their well-deserved title shot. And then we roll right into our next match, and it's for the U.S. Tag Team titles, as JR Kratos and Odinson of the Immortals takes on, I don't know their full names, but it's Sage and Rant of the Slime Balls. And it starts off with the Immortals, taking down the smaller Sage and just beating him senseless. Eventually, Sage does tag into Rant, who has a better time of it. And then Sage gets tagged in again. They do some double team stuff. Eventually, Odinson with a big old pounce to Rant. Big power slam to Sage. And their double team finisher, which is called Immortality, which is a great name for a finisher for these two, for the retention and the win. So, it's going to be interesting to see who dethrones these tag team champions, but I hope it's no time soon, because these two guys are great. Next up, we got a backstage interview with Burchill, the challenger for the national title, and pretty much says, all I've known my whole life is wrestling. I look back on my career and I see no sense of purpose. My purpose now is my family, and I'm going to enjoy this ride while I can. No doubt you're on the ups, Silas, but you've never been in the ring with someone like me. And as my mentors has said, grit your teeth. Now, I've definitely heard that as a finisher for the Grizzled Young Veterans. I didn't know that was an English thing, so that's pretty cool. We then roll right into our main event for NWA Power, as it's for the national title, as Thrillbilly Silas Mason takes on Burchill. Now, if you don't remember Burchill, he was in WWE briefly, once as a pirate, and no, I am not kidding about that. Go look it up. It's insane. And then he was on ECW for a little bit with his sister, Katie Lee, and they apparently wanted to have sex. Like they were very obvious about that. That was very weird. Anyway, this matchup was a whole lot of fun. It definitely looked like Thrillbilly was more or less playing with his food. Burchill fights back more times than I can count. It's a amazing looking flapjack. Goes for a power bomb, but Thrillbilly kicks out at 2. Burchill kind of on the attack, goes into the ropes, right into the thrill ride for the win for Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And yeah, I do wish this match went on a little bit longer, but I do feel like Burchill got more than enough in to make him look legit and maybe a future challenger. I wouldn't mind them lacing it up again. So yeah, that was NWA Power. Definitely another strong episode since their return from their hiatus. Gonna be interesting to see what goes on from there. And last but not least, we've got AEW Dynamite. Ooh, this one was a fun one. And we started off with a match between Jon Moxley and Dax Harwood of FTR. And if you saw Collision last week, you know that Mox and the Blackpool Combat Club have been having trouble with the CMLL guys. And they called out any tag team in the world to come out and face them, and FTR did. So we're starting off with this. Honestly, this match was absolutely amazing. Really good back and forth. I'm still surprised Moxley can keep up technically with Dax. Because Mox is more of a brawler anyway. But this match was actually good. And actually, one interesting spot that I'm seeing a lot of flack going on online is the two, playing mind games. They kind of kissed each other, which, honestly, I thought that was a great, mind games thing. Anyway, real back and forth stuff. Near the end, Moxley tries for a paradigm shift that gets blocked into a big brainbuster for a 2 count. Eventually, Mox gets in the rear naked choke. It looks like Dax is fighting for the ropes, but eventually he taps out for Mox to pick up the victory. Initially, Mox doesn't let go post-match, but then Cash Wheeler comes out to make the save and break it up, which he does. But then Claudio comes out and takes out Cash. And Claudio and Mox take out FTR. So, we'll see what happens with this slow feud. It definitely has me interested. Next up, we got an interview from the Don Callis family, with Don pretty much taking over this, calling them a victim of their own success. Don Callis family is the best group in the world, and we need to be on that revolution. And we're going to get a match that people will be talking about for decades. And it's going to be all in the family. As Konosuke Takeshita takes on Will Ospreay. What? That match is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. We then get Wardlow versus Barrett Brown in a very quick squash match. I'm gonna ask, Tony, if you don't have anything interesting for Wardlow, don't have him on the show. Like, there's no context in this. You should be beating up, I don't know, someone. Maybe getting involved in the world title picture or something. Like, Jesus. Anyway, next matchup, bit of a better match, and is for the number one contendership for the TNT title at Revolution. It's Adam Copeland taking on Daniel Garcia. And this match was super good. Like, Daniel Garcia as a wrestler has evolved so much. Adam Copeland is just a vet of vets. However, before we could get a finish in which Copeland had Daniel Garcia in a crossface, out comes Nick Wayne and Killswitch, formerly Luchasaurus, of the Patriarchy, to break it up, cause the DQ. So the match is thrown out. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne's mom come out. They join in the beatdown. Wayne's mom then low blows Adam Copeland, which that's definitely a vision. And a concerto to Daniel Garcia. I mean, to Copeland, which almost happened to Garcia, but Copeland saved Garcia. So, yeah, I don't know what the status is of the TNT title match. Maybe it's Garcia who takes the match. I guess we'll see. So, next up, we get a Samoa Joe promo. And he's out there with the spirit of apology. He wanted the best victims, and going so well until last week. I'm going to kick both of these two back of the line. And the only thing you did was make the match bigger and dumber. We're rewarding mediocrity. And now I find myself in a three-way. The AEW is going to send you two guys in, and you're both going to limp out. This brings out Swerve Strickland, who says, when we first started this, it wasn't supposed to be personal, but now it feels like it's becoming personal. I showed up with my reputation and resume on the way to becoming the GOAT, and now one outgrinds me. You need to check my resume, put some respect on it. I've been grinding for 15 years just for a look. And now that I've proven that, today is that day. I'm going toe-to-toe with the best AEW has to offer. And at Revolution, nothing changes. And I will be holding the world title. Then out comes, with no music on the mic, saying, no, 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 is Hangman Adam Page, who pretty much says, look, last week was horse shit. I signed the contract to be a number one contenders match. Swerve, you didn't win the match. So, Joe, this match should be a one-on-one. Unfortunately, I don't make the matches. And you should hear me. After everything you've done to me, you don't deserve 1 second of my time. You couldn't get the job done last week. You don't deserve to be in this match. And then, Hangman and Swerve are face to face. Joe breaks it up. Says, this dispute ends tonight. And at Revolution, I'm whooping both your asses. So Joe laying down the line. This is going to get very, very interesting come Revolution. Next up, we got a timeless Toni Storm and her new feature film, pretty much going through her relationship with Deonna Purrazzo, saying she's been hanging on my coattails since Japan. I only got this tattoo because I felt sorry for her. And Purrazzo, what does this tattoo mean to you? Because to me, it means nothing. Then we see her getting what I thought was getting a cover-up for the tattoo. Instead, it was an addition, as we see a knife, two sides of a knife, the hilt on top, and then a blade on the bottom, with the original tattoo in the middle, which, oh, the symbolism. Oh, I am loving this feud right now. Then we cut to a Deonna Purrazzo backstage interview, pretty much saying, Tony, you talk too much. And at Revolution, I'm gonna break your arm, bitch. So, nice, short, sweet, to the point. Adds, this is... If you're not at least a little bit excited for this match, after the build they've been doing with it, the story they've been telling, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say you're missing out, because they're telling an amazing story with this. Next up, we see the Young Bucks arriving at the arena. They're still wearing the blood-covered suits they beat Sting and Darby Allin with. And we go right to their match, as it's Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the EVPs of AEW, the Young Bucks, taking on Dante and Darius Martin, Top Flight. And honestly, last time these two teams faced, Top Flight got the victory. And this match was just as good, if not better, than the original. And honestly, the original was great. This took it a step up. This was a great little matchup, including the finish, where the ref was all distracted by Nicholas, Matthew with a low blow, in which it wasn't a regular one, it was elevated, and instead of kicking, he just punched him right in. Ooh. Then an EVP trigger for the win for the Young Bucks. Then we get an interview with Tony Schiavone in the ring. Pretty much saying, yeah, we're undefeated in AEW this year. We just beat a top tag team in AEW. And we have a reason to believe we are number one contenders. They then show a picture of that. Young Bucks are number one contenders on the big screen, which is hilarious. Then they turn on Schiavone, pretty much saying, you want to sit on commentary, talk trash on us. I feel like that's a breach of contract. It's unprofessional, and it's Bush League. So you're getting a $1,000 fine. Then Matthew gets in between, pretty much says, look, my brother's a hophead, but don't let it happen again. They then have Tony Schiavone down on the ground. Looks like they're about to hit an EVP trigger on him, but Darby Allin makes the save. He gets on the microphone, pretty much says, do you remember the original mission statement of AEW? It's to change the world. And when you were just hiring your friends, I had to beg for a job. And an EVP with sense, and no, I'm not talking about Kenny Omega, that starts a big Cody Rhodes chant, which very interesting to see in AEW. And now it feels like the original mission statement is dead, and it has become all friendship wrestling. And we all know you're talking about Sting's final match, right? You don't understand what you've gotten yourselves into, because it's showtime. So, looks like we're going to be getting Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks for the tag titles for Sting's last match. And then we go backstage for an interview with the entire Bang Bang Scissor Gang. That's Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Billy Gunn, Jay White, Austin, and Colton Gunn, where they're saying, yeah, things are running smoothly for our group, but we have yet to test our cohesiveness. Why don't we do a 12-man tag on Rampage? Which, like, damn. That's going to be tough to keep track of. I'm going to do my best on that. Then we go into our next matchup as Willow Nightingale takes on Sky Blue. And yeah, this match was really, really fun for these two young, I don't really want to call them youngsters, but young to AEW. And it's been nice seeing how these two evolved, not only as characters, but as wrestlers. Near the end of the match, Sky Blue goes for the code blue, has Willow pinned, but Stokely Hathaway, who has been on commentary, gets up, gets on the apron, distracts the ref. So Willow gets out of it. It's a big kick to the gut, a Babe with powerbomb to pick up the victory. And then post-match, we see Julia Hart up on the ramp, and she's not looking happy. So we'll see where this feud goes. Definitely an interesting matchup. We'll see what happens going forward. And Vine Ala Maho, our main event, and it's a Texas death match, as it's Matt Taven of the United Kingdom taking on Orange Cassidy. And let me tell you, these two guys beat the tar out of each other. Like, they used everything. They used pretty much everything they could think of. You know, we had, eventually we had the United Kingdom Undisputed Kingdom come out, try to run interference. Eventually Trent does come out. He has a baseball bat, starts just beating the heck out of people. And also during the match, Cassidy goes under the ring, grabs a chocolate heart box, because it's Valentine's Day, opens it, dumps out a box of tacks, and both guys each had a moment in the tacks, which is absolutely insane. Then near the end, Cassidy hits an orange punch and a beach break, but that only goes for a 2. Taven then gets up and rips Orange Cassidy's pants. Then Cassidy has a chain wrapped around his fist. Orange punch. But Roderick Strong finally comes out. Knees Trent Beretta in the face. However, Taven doesn't answer the 10 count for your win for Orange Cassidy. So, definitely an entertaining match. Didn't really need to be a Texas death match other than, it's in Texas. So, advertising. So, didn't hate it, but also didn't love it. It was fine for what it was. So, overall, very interesting week of wrestling. Coming Monday, I'm going to cover TNA Impact, AEW Rampage, and WWE SmackDown. Now, why did I do that in that order? Because tonight, Rampage is actually going to be on before SmackDown at 7 Eastern, due to the NBA All-Star festivities. So TNT is going to be covering that. So, 7 o'clock, be there if you really want to. And then also coming next week, Next Friday, it's going to be TNA No Surrender. That's going to be on YouTube Insiders, if you're not subscribed to that. And then next Saturday, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be the Elimination Chamber, and it's going to be on for me at 5 a.m., in which probably not going to be up at 5 a.m., so I'll probably watch it a little later in the day. So you could be ready for predictions for that. Then I'll cover it maybe Sunday or Monday. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, that'll do it from me. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like the video. Comment down below what you thought of this week in wrestling. And I hope you all have the best of days. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.